You ever just make the impulse decision to try to put together an opinion piece on a somewhat topical subject, only for that video to snowball into a massive passion project spanning over 2 years? Well, that happened to me. Hey, it's me, Joe. You know, that guy. Some call me Toasty Man, but regardless, a lot of you have been here for a long time now, and if you're new here, make yourself at home. I honestly had no clue I would make it this far making content. 1,000 subscribers. 1,000 people who looked at this page and said, man, this is good. I want to be there every time he uploads. Thank you. All of you. I never set out to specifically garner an audience, as I just assumed that the first Klonoa video was going to be a one-hit wonder for me. For the longest time, I always saw my view count barely go into the hundreds and continued to look on the bright side because hey, 200 people is more than you really think. I don't want to flex my ego with YouTube analytics, I just want to make content. I needed an outlet to express my opinions even if it didn't get a lot of buzz. I never had a desire to make content during my teenage years, as I just didn't think I would really be that good at it. In fact, I wasn't really good at much at the time, but that doesn't mean YouTube didn't take its turn on me. YouTube has basically been my primary source of entertainment for about 10 years now, because my favorite TV channels were turning out some pretty mediocre content around that time. YouTube basically allowed me to sift through a vast sea of random people, outcast nerds like me who like to talk about the dumbest crap at great length. You see a lot of people cite the usual big names as their inspirations like James Rolfe and JonTron, but you want to know the creator of the very first YouTube game review I ever watched? Pat Strikes Back. Never heard of him? I certainly don't blame you, it was a product of its time.
I'm better than you. No, I'm better than you. No, I'm better than you. No, I'm better than you. Shut the fuck up!
I watched this video at 9 years old. I was left with unsupervised internet access. Can you tell I'm Gen Z? YouTube essentially gave me the content I actually wanted to see, and random rabbit holes basically introduced me to several franchises that I probably wouldn't have gotten into otherwise. TMNT, Earthworm Jim, Klonoa, Parappa the Rapper, Godzilla, a majority of Sonic, etc. This is actually how I got into retro gaming and emulation too. If it weren't for YouTube, I probably wouldn't have my interests. YouTube had a massive influence on me, and as someone who was left out and not given a chance to speak up a lot of the time as a kid, hearing some of these randos spit their shit was nice to see. It was really cool to know that I wasn't the only one that cared about this kind of stuff. However, I didn't have that much of a desire to make content myself as a teenager due to previous failures doing so, some of which were on this very account and are now private, never to be public again. And ever since then, I just used this channel as a dumping ground for random crap for the longest time. However, even despite my interests, I had a lot of trouble really finding my personality or deciding how I wanted to present myself. My online alias Toasty Man was actually decided all the way back in 2015, but the way you see me now really only manifested itself a little after I started making content in 2022. I imagine a lot of people had that phase in their life where they just couldn't land on a personality they were happy with, but if you were friends with me for the longest time, you would probably know that I was pretty inconsistent, way longer than you would ever expect. I was unpredictable online and quiet and reserved in person. I only really had one in-person friend for a majority of my teenage years who I actually found out watches his channel. Otherwise, I resorted to making friends online because my grade level did not exactly respect me, and honestly that's probably for the best. This local school district is a fucking train wreck in every sense of the word. I did not do very well in high school. The only saving grace for me was the men's choir. It was definitely where I shined the most and I really bonded with the guys there. Hey Lou, you still kicking it? Why'd you delete everything? Come back! I feel like my biggest regret in my life so far is not bidding them a proper farewell at the time I left. I'm not in contact with a single one of them anymore, unfortunately. After graduating school, not showing up to that gay-ass ceremony and refusing to pay my school fees because they don't deserve that money with how poorly they handle finances, my social life basically stagnated and I just continued to keep in touch with my current friends. I did befriend a certain someone in late 2019 and got fully assimilated into his whole friend group about 2 years later, and after growing up literally only having one person to hang out with who I was slowly drifting away from at the time, I gotta say it's an amazing feeling. Fast forward to early 2022, I'm laying low as per usual, being an 18-year-old in the middle of a shit economy working for nothing towards nothing. This stupid thing was announced, my stupid ass got excited, and this stupid thing basically served as my current fixation for that time of the year. We're getting some remasters soon. This old remake on the Wii? I don't think it's very good. And then the most unhinged idea circulated throughout my head. I'm going to make my own analysis video talking about why I don't like this. Now this isn't the first scripted review type video I've made on this channel, as there was that old Battle for Bikini Bottom review back in 2020, but for the longest time I considered that nothing more than a failed experiment, but something pushed me to continue with this idea here. Maybe it was internal unrest from not really improving my craft from 2 years prior, the unhinged obsession with Klondike, or just the fact that I really had nothing better to do, but regardless, I decided to put my weird interest and mediocre skills with Power Director to good use. Considering that the old battle video really only managed a few hundred views 2 years prior by that point, and the fact Klonoa as a series was 100 times more niche, I did not expect this thing to do numbers. Needless to say, I was completely wrong. Seeing a creation of mine go above 500 views was an insane feeling, and watching the thing climb into the thousands as time went on was a clear sign that this was a passion project worth putting time into. Little Joey finally found a creative outlet. I ended up meeting quite a few people, even getting to talk to those with a lot of clout in the Klonoa fandom. A handful of artists, a YouTuber who partially inspired that video's creation in the first place, and just random members of the fandom that became loyal supporters of my YouTube endeavors at the time and stuck around ever since. My Discord server actually started to become active for once as well. Believe it or not, this thing was created all the way back in 2017, and only now did it actually go somewhere. Granted, it's not huge, but I don't care. I made friends with a handful of content creators as well, namely Dinosaur with 42 Heads and Junior Nitro, the latter of which I've actually been in contact with for a long time, but we've definitely been closer recently. Fun fact, a whole year before that old Battle for Bikini Bottom video, I was a co-host for his Crash Team Racing Nitro Field review in 2019. I don't know why he wanted to collab with me. I recently turned 16 at the time, and we both agree these days that the video is a total cringe fest. I was so self-conscious at the time that I desperately tried to make myself sound deeper by talking in a monotone voice, and I was scared to show my face, so I told him to visualize me with my current avatar at the time, which was a random anime girl because I'm a smelly virgin. I don't even know who this character is to this day. Why did I agree to this?
The environments are pleasing and the animations are spot on. Of course, it's unfortunate that the game only runs at 30 FPS as a result of the gorgeousness.
But one person that really made a difference in a lot of ways is one that most of you are probably already familiar with. I've plugged him several times. He's responsible for a lot of my thumbnails. The man, the myth, the legend, the Paint Huffer. He joined my Discord in late 2022, and over time he's evolved from an enthusiastic fanboy to a great friend. He's also responsible for the first piece of fan art I've ever received. It's a weird feeling seeing someone else illustrate their take on your avatar, and now I've decided to just make that image the new icon for the channel. I highly recommend visiting his Newgrounds if you're looking to commission some art. It's an insane value considering the price and quality. Here's some of my favorite works of his on screen now. He's a stand-up guy, and I hope things get better for him down the road. And shit, while I'm talking about artists, I might as well give Crimmy a shout out for her work on the thumbnail for the SpongeBob movie game review. It's been less than a month since it was uploaded, and it's already eclipsed most of my catalog and views. I was honestly a little worried how the piece would turn out considering the language barrier, but she went so unbelievably hard with this. This is actually the one video where I had people comment about the thumbnail. It's insane.
Over there in that empty chair is where my dear old dad usually sits, but tonight he's in the other room, I think. I'm trying to watch the bloody television in here!
Hey, by the way, a quick update about the SpongeBob movie game. I actually got something wrong near the beginning when I was talking about the aspect ratio shit. I was under the false impression that the game was permanently cropped no matter what aspect ratio you had it set to, when in reality, the way the Xbox version is programmed for some reason, you need to have composite AV cables in order to get the proper 4:3 aspect ratio for some reason. I don't know why the fuck it's like this. It's the only game I've ever seen do this. What the fuck? Hell, even people I knew in real life became aware of this channel and had my back. In early 2023, I was in the middle of a 2-week notice at the job I was working at, about to start a new one. One of my coworkers found the channel completely by accident, which spread throughout the crew without my knowledge. So imagine my reaction when I walk into work one day only to hear my boss go, "Yo, it's Toasty Man!" I was absolutely not used to that kind of attention in person, so I had no clue what to say.
Oh my god. They found me. I don't know how, but they found me.
This channel really has made quite the difference in my life. Coming out of my shell and being more open about myself was probably the largest effect it had on me. I never did this for clout like how so many other people desperately try to drum up fame with varying results. I'm just a simple man who wanted to put something out there, you know? I was always just happy that more than a handful of people bothered checking the videos out. I see views and success as something you have to earn from the viewers, which is why my videos always end with a simple thanks for watching rather than nagging you to like and subscribe. By the way, did you know 90% of this video's audience isn't subscribed? I don't want to suck up to my viewers to get my grubby little hands on the humble award, but my feelings on the matter can't really be described any other way. Not to mention it could be a lot worse. I could be calling all of you motherfuckers leeches for not giving me money. To hell with that, I'm just happy with a 4-digit number next to my ramblings about Vidya. I don't really have much else to say about this. Thanks to all of you for tuning in, and thanks to my friends for having my back. One last thing I want to talk about is a quick channel update. 2024 has been very slow in terms of uploads so far, but rest assured, the next few months before the end of the year will have me trying to get things back on track. Time hasn't been on my side lately, so that ended up delaying the movie video by over a month, and you probably already know what happened to the Klonoa retrospective. I've spoken about that at great length. Anyway, expect content output to hopefully speed up during the fall. While I can't give any exact dates, I have a solid roadmap of what I want to put out for the rest of the year, so look forward to that. Here's to 1,000 subscribers, and thanks to everyone again for watching.